Here's why this is good. That's all I got, man. And I'm posting this, and I don't know how many people are gonna watch it. I'm telling you, this right here, someone's gonna watch it, and someone's gonna send it to somebody. This is gonna change their lives. I hope it does, because my life is being blown just processing this. Okay. So, all right, what's up, y'all? We're doing this again. I'm at a place where I feel like I know too much not to share, so I'm gonna share it. Here's something I'm realizing. There's a book, by the way, that you can check out. It's called Give and Take. Okay, I think it's Adam Grant. But it's the power of giving and receiving. And so many of us have been taught this lesson wrong, and that's the only reason why we're struggling. Okay, so the best way I can explain this is if we do a chart, right? And if we were to have giving here, and let's say receiving here, the other side of this is like taking, and then it's like rejecting. Okay, and so give and take, the book, it talks about givers that don't know how to receive, that's how I processed it at the stage of life that I'm in. Givers that don't know how to receive are at the bottom of the success ladder. Then you have takers that are in the middle, and then you have givers who know how to receive at the top, right? Because a taker can win fast and then fall off, but a giver that knows how to receive you're generating this energy of like positive reciprocity where you give and receive and give, and it's this overflow. If you ever had a conversation with somebody where it's like, it's just such a great conversation. You're sharing stuff, they're sharing stuff, you're learning from them, they're learning from you, you're learning from them, right? So they're learning from you, you're giving to them, and then you're also receptive to hear from them. And it's just like, it's a symbiotic, alignment. It's just such a good energy, right? So here's what happens. Let's look at the worst part of the spectrum here first, which is like the person who, it's like you take from people and you're not willing to receive any change at all, right? Or any help on like why you're doing this, right? I see it as like, imagine two people trying to take from each other. I literally just had this conversation, by the way, y'all, with the team that I lead, and I'm like, more people need to hear this. It was, imagine me and my wife, we get into marriage. The reason we're in marriage is to get something out of it. So I'm trying to get something out of her. She's trying to get something out of me. That turns into war, right? For those of you guys that are married, you know what I'm talking about. And that's what happens in the world, right? You're trying to take territory, all this different stuff, taking from each other. It turns into war. This is the worst version of humanity. Wars, fighting, killing, hatred. Because what's happening, it's this symbiotic energy of hate, though. That's the problem. It's like hate is compounding, and it's like this is where you have destruction, okay? Don't want to be here at all. Here's the issue, though. Some of us, we operate in one of these capacities, right? It's either you give, but you don't know how to receive, okay? So it's kind of like you just have this identity of, I'm just such a giver. I'm such a servant heart. Right? If you've read the Bible, it says something really powerful. It says giving is more blessed than receiving, okay? And so this is true. Here's the issue. The truth is giving is more blessed than receiving. What's not true is that receiving is bad. So a lot of times when we hear that, we think, okay, just be a kind person, be a giving person, and don't receiving good things is not a good thing, right? That's not true. So some of us fall into this trap where we're really good at giving, but we're really bad at receiving, right? You're always the one helping everybody. The second somebody tries to help you, you're like, no, I'm okay. I'm bashful, I'm okay, I don't need it. And what happens is it actually drives this kind of pride where you feel like being the giver, like you kind of take the ability for other people to give away, right? Like you want to help people when they want to help you, you're like, no, stop. And you like block your blessings, right? They always say don't block your blessings. But not only are you blocking your blessings, selfishly what you don't realize is someone else feels good giving to you and you're stopping them from feeling that way, right? So what happens here is you have this, it's almost like a lack of alignment. It's like these two, it's not symbiotic, right? And this is one side of that energy that's kind of like, what's going on here? The other side of that energy is when you don't know how to give, right? Because gives up here, takes here. So you take, and you're always receiving from everybody. So people, like, you take from other people, and then when people help you, you receive, but then you never know how to give back to them. So you're just taking, you're just like a black hole, right? People are helping you and you're just taking advantage of their help, and you're never reciprocating it and so forth, right? And so here's the issue. Both of these sides are just as bad. Okay? When we think about it like you're just a taker. Oh man, you're just a taker, whatever the case may be, right? You're transactional, all this different stuff. But just as bad as somebody that's just transactional is somebody who just gives but doesn't think that they deserve to get anything back. Okay? We're just as bad. And I'll explain this. I'm going to explain why this is actually, I believe this is the most dangerous person. I used to think it was, I'll explain. I used to think it was here. I think it's here, right? But then where we get to a point where we actually start thriving, right? Like when I'm here, I'm like dying, okay? It's like destruction. It's horrible. These two sections, this is survival, okay? Here I found this is where people thrive. Okay, where you thrive is when you're willing to give and you also value yourself enough to be willing to receive. Okay, so it's like you're willing to help people, you're willing to be there for them and so forth. And let's say you lend out money, whatever the case may be, and you just let's say you lend somebody money, but then you never check back in because you're afraid, you think it's gonna be awkward. Oh, I don't want to ask them for my money back, so right? I'm just right. This person has a healthy identity because they're willing to say, hey, I helped you out. Hey, real quick, I know you're gonna pay me back. When you're gonna give me, let's get a payment plan up and running or something, because they understand that it is blessed to give. It's more blessed to give than receive, but again, receiving's not bad. And a lot of times we got to put boundaries in place, maybe build systems and so forth to allow us to also receive the reciprocation of good giving energy. Okay. And so I find this in so many different areas where oftentimes nonprofit space is here. We're so giving, but resources are always low. Okay? I'm not saying not all nonprofits are like that, but the energy behind I just want to serve my community, I just want to be there, but yet never have funding, right? The other side here is receive but never give is like big time capitalism, right? Like you got big time capitalism and almost exploitation here, kind of always taking. And then here you've got heavy socialism and no one has to earn their spot, whatever the case may be. And neither one of those, right? It's in politics. Oh, wow. Yes, this is the political spectrum. Wow, look at this. Holy cow. So what you find is if you have a plane that only has one arm, that plane is going down, right? And just as the country, so is it us individually. And so we're never going to thrive until we're in the place where it's like a both, right? Where you have the social impact and you also have the profit and returns, rate of return, meaning it's a healthy identity in receiving returns. Profit is a return on investment. Or if I'm building something, I'm adding value and then someone pays me for the value. It's on the back end. The issue is here, a lot of people think it's all about profit, right? Here it's all about I gotta get the profit out of it. And then here it's all about profit is bad. Okay? Rejecting profit or idolizing profit. Here, it's no. Actually, giving is more blessed than receiving. The purpose of business, the purpose of life, the purpose of all of it is to give your gift. It's to be a gift to the world, to be a light, your salt and light to the world, right? To make the world a better place. The purpose really of life is to give. And then it's okay. Open up your spirit to be okay to receive. Okay? But here's what I found. We have give and receive. Right? Give first and then be okay with receiving. You have give, but receiving is bad. You have don't give, right? Or receive, but don't give, so take, basically. And then you have giving, I don't give, I don't give, and I don't receive, right? Just this is the worst, like I said, worst part of society possible, right? Here's what I found. Whenever you meet someone like this, here's this is good. Here's why here's where we go wrong. If I meet somebody who is a give and receive, okay, and I see that they have a receive, they do receive. If I'm not careful, I'll look at them and I'll think that they're this. Okay? Why? Because I'm this. Okay? So because I am the person who, when I receive, I don't give, when I see somebody who receives, I think, well, that looks mighty similar to this, doesn't it? You said he makes how much money? You said this guy's a billionaire? You said what? How much money did they make on that deal? What? Oh no. He's gotta be exploiting somebody. He's gotta be just greedy and profit hungry, and ain't no way they're really giving to the community, because you can't be, I keep seeing all these freaking videos of people saying that there's no good billionaires in the world. That's foolishness. But here's why. That foolishness comes from this group. Because that person is wealthy, this group projects and says, yeah, no, this guy can't be, plus and plus. This guy's got to be evil somewhere. So we project onto them and we say, no, that looks like this. And so anyone who is living a life where they do receive, we think they're bad. We think they're evil. We think they're putting receiving over giving just because they're receiving a lot. But there are some people that receive a lot because they've given even more. There's some people that are ultra wealthy because of how much they've given to the world. And I don't want to name names because y'all have some issues with some people because you think they're doing this because you can't see that they're actually doing this. Now, are all of them? No. There are some people that are successful here, okay? There are some people that are successful there, okay? On the other side, sometimes when we see this person, if we come from this angle, we see this person and they're doing this. And so we assume, like you see somebody and they're just really genuine person. So we assume they must not make any money. Yeah, no, they can't be wealthy. They're just serving the Lord, right? That's it. We can't fathom them making any money. And what happens is because we live in these two worlds, aka scarcity, we live in survival world, right? Then if I meet somebody who's a really, really good person, I really like them, I like what they're doing for the community, all this different stuff. The moment I find out that they're making a lot of money, I flip-flop. I go from here to here, and I'm like, no, they gotta be, no way. They got something wrong with them. They must be taking advantage of somebody. Because we can't fathom the idea that giving and receiving is a good thing, and that if you give, you live a life of giving, of helping people. Think about it. A business, a real successful, sustainable business has given something. I saw something that said Netflix couldn't, what did it say? Netflix was asking us for more money and they went and bought Warner. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, Netflix gave you years of entertainment. They brought movies to your house. You had to, oh my gosh, you used to have to go drive to Blockbuster. You had to waste money, you had to waste gas, you had to waste time to go get films. Netflix made it so you could just watch it from home. They served you. And because they built something that you liked, that you enjoyed, you paid them and they received. So stop being mad that they're wealthy. They helped you. Why are you mad at them? It's the same. Look at YouTube. I have this video. You're watching this video on YouTube. YouTube built a platform so someone like me could share my story, share the things I've learned. So many people doing it. And YouTube's a wealthy company. The founders became multi-millionaires. Somebody will meet them and say, you're a bad person. What are you freaking talking about? What are you talking about? These people are building things to help serve humanity. You're not building anything and you're saying that they're bad people? Who's the bad person? The bad people are, yes, these people that can't give and they can't receive. They're just the hearts. And usually this is because your heart, you've been hurt. And I get it. I had a guy down in Brazil when I played down there that owed me money. I gave. And I realized I was trying to do this, but he didn't pay me back. And then I got upset and frustrated, all this different stuff. And I didn't have boundaries, whatever. So then I got to a point where I was like, nah, I'm not willing to give like that no more, all this stuff. So I understand. I've been there, okay? But here's what happens. What I found is this person don't know any better. This person is ignorant. They don't know any better. They don't realize what they're doing. Because if you really realize what you were doing, you would never do that, okay? But here's the most dangerous person. What I found is this. The most dangerous person isn't the taker, because I still think this person is unaware. This person's still a bit ignorant, okay? This person doesn't have power. When I see this, I see power up here, at the giver group here, power up here, and I see insecurity down here, right? Like force. Like there's oh my gosh, look at this. There's a book, Power versus Force. I'll put the picture up. But Power versus Force, you only force people and try to manipulate people on stuff when you're insecure. But when you're full, when you know who you are, when you know you're a gift to society and you're willing to overflow and give, that's what makes you powerful, okay? Here's the thing. That's why I don't think this person is the worst person for society. I think, wow, this is crazy. Hear me out. I think the worst person for society is this person. Ooh. The worst person for society is a person who just gives, and doesn't allow themselves to receive. You want to know why? Because when you give, and then you block other people from giving to you, one, you're teaching other people not to give. Two, you're teaching other people that when you give, you never receive. So you end up being a giver who has no resources, who's always struggling, but you're giving and so forth. So then watch this. This person sees you and they're like, well, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live like they're living. So instead, I'm not going to give because clearly giving gives me a bad result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to overcorrect and I'm going to take so I can actually receive. So I can actually live a abundant life. So I can actually have money and resources and fake power. Because people think that when you take and you have money that it's real, but it's not. It's gonna fall eventually. It doesn't sustain itself. It's not real. It's fake. It's false. It's a house of cards. It's got a cracked foundation. It's not gonna sustain itself. You're gonna fight your entire life to keep it afloat. You're gonna be wasting your time, wasting your soul, and you're gonna be miserable. Just so you know, okay? So here's the thing. But this person doesn't have the power. This one does, because they know that giving is good. But what they don't realize is by not receiving, you're teaching this person, you're teaching them not to give, and you're also teaching them that giving does not get you a return. So you teach the entire world and everyone that's met you, oh my gosh, this is hard to accept. You're teaching everyone that's ever met you in your entire life to be a taker. Because people are going to reject your life because they don't want to live a life where they have to struggle forever. And you've taught them that giving means you struggle. It's not true. That's a lie. And so what I'm finding is we have a responsibility. It's like if I were to say who's the best for society and worst for society, I'd say the biggest harm to society is obviously this person. However, this person doesn't know what they're doing. Next would be here. They still don't know what they're doing. This person actually, it seems like they're the best for society because they're really you're like, oh, everyone, like we're trying to help everyone. We're here for everyone. We're here for everyone. And we don't need anything. We're just, making money is bad. Making money is evil. All this different stuff. Here's what I found. This person is what do they call it? Oh, here we go. For those of you guys that understand the word and all this stuff, it's the counterfeit. It's a counterfeit to the truth. It feels true, but it's a counterfeit. And it's actually worse because it feels right, so it manipulates me to think it's right. Right? Like I'm like, wow, this person's such a good person. Oh my gosh, they're so nice. Look at them. And they think making money is bad. That's great. And what you don't realize is it's actually the worst because it pushes me the furthest away from the truth, which is what? That it's okay to receive as long as giving is the freaking priority. That's all I got, man. And I'm posting this, and I don't know how many people are gonna watch it. I'm telling you, this right here, someone's gonna watch it, and someone's gonna send it to somebody. This is gonna change some lives. I hope it does, because my life is being blown just processing this. Okay. So, giving, like the word says, giving is more blessed than receiving. However, receiving is not bad. And when you meet somebody who does receive well, aka they have, things coming to them, that does not mean that they're a taker. It might mean that they have given more than they received. And we all have to be open, have open minds and open hearts to believe in the possibility of that. Okay? I'm done. I'll see y'all when I see ya. I'm very curious to see how long this freaking video was. All right, peace. All right, what's up, y'all? So look, if you watched this far, I'm hoping that the video helped and added some value and it could be something that could help you in the season of life that you're in. If you did watch this far, I'm sure you're focused on growth and impact and all this stuff. That's why you're watching it, right? And so for those of you guys that don't know, I did recently just launch a website, www.weareevolutionnation.com. This is going to be where all of the things that we're working on and doing are kind of housed, because there's a lot of moving pieces. We started doing some community-based events, different game nights, and even this weekend I'm going up. We have an art and finance event that we're hosting up in Connecticut. There's just a lot of different things that we're doing. On top of the fact that, yes, we still do run our very for-profit financial services company as well. Our insurance distribution agency. And so that information, Evolution Financial, will be on the page as well. I'll be bridging in some of my YouTube content on there as well. And I mean, I even have on there, it's like me and my wife, we run a for-profit business. We're dealing with finance and all that stuff, but we're focused on making a nonprofit level impact. We have a lot of people that we partner with that are that run nonprofits, different community-based organizations and all that stuff. And just like I explained in the video, I really think that those two worlds can collide to continue to create an impact and have the resources to do that, right? And so feel free to check the site out. If you have any questions, you can send your info in. And this is kind of I know it's evolve, right? But it's kind of evolving as we go in order to continue to align with the impact that we do want to have on the world. So anyways, thanks for watching. Hope it helped. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one.